Wow, nice and clean. All right,
Mm.
we live. Wow, I'm surprised. welcome, welcome to the nosebleed section. Welcome back, guys. After a wild first week of free agency, I am your host as always, Joe Amos from 98%. I'm joined by my host. What is your name today?
The mock draft menace, because we about to get about that action. Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh! All right, guys, we're using PFN again. Mock draft simulator. We'll be forcing some trades through just to get some things that I don't know what Jay has planned up his sleeve tonight. I don't have anything. He just said, "Yo, we're doing a mock draft today," and I got shit to do. So I was like, "Okay." So I'm gonna just give him the floor. Whatever he's gonna do, his crazy mind he's gonna do. But as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit that smash the subscribe button. Pushing for our first 150 subscribers. That'd be great. All right, let's get into this. No time like the present. Oh man. Let's see. Again, we are using PFN. I have the first pick in the draft. And no surprise here, I am the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, they traded away Justin Fields, as all you guys saw yesterday, for a conditional 6th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think they have a backup currently on the roster. I not to my knowledge. But as much as I believe Caleb Williams wants to go to Washington, I think he'll be a Chicago Bear come April. So the first pick in the draft, I am going Caleb Williams. He's going to Chicago.
This one is probably not going to be. Well, it might be a surprise to some people. It might not be a surprise to others. I think at this point it's a matter of preference. If you look at like the coaching staff that Washington wants to go get, you look at some of the personnel moves they made. I'm just a believer that they're going to look at a more mobile quarterback versus a quarterback that's, one of those big, strong guys that just kind of sits in the pocket. So I'm going to have them taking Jaden Daniels.
Okay. To Washington. It makes sense. Like they just signed Marcus Mariota as a backup. So
Yeah.
I want somebody, like you said, is going to be able to move around more. 3 could be interesting. Patriots could potentially move. They could do a lot of things, but I think we're not going to go crazy here. They want they need a quarterback. They traded Mac Jones away. They signed Jacoby Brissett back to New England to be the backup, to be the bridge guy probably. They have Billy Zappi, but you see how that happened, how that worked out last year. The Patriots need a guy, a long-term signal caller, and I think they believe, as much as they may want it to be Jaden Daniels, maybe not. I know we heard a lot of rumors about that, but I think Drake May is their guy. I think they're going to go take Drake May, their quarterback, and he'll be hopefully the future for the Patriots the next who knows how long. So, all right.
I'm going to say here, I think Arizona can afford, like they're kind of sitting back, like licking their chops because they see this, and it's like there is the multitude of wide receivers, and then there's also the other offensive linemen. Even though they just signed Jonah Williams, I think that they could definitely still be in play for an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
but the chalk pick here would be taking Marvin Harrison Jr. But I just feel like there's going to be a swerve where there are going to be 4 quarterbacks in the top 6.
Okay.
The question is, who moves up? Is it it feels like it's Minnesota, but I feel like it's Minnesota for Drake May. So if Drake May isn't there, like, does Minnesota make a move? Oh, and I look at the Giants, and I think the Giants feel the heat from Minnesota. So I think the Giants will trade up 2 slots to go and get their quarterback of the future.
Okay. So we're going to got Arizona and the Giants 4 for 6. Propose and it's accepted.
Now, mind you, the compensation is not what we think it is. It's just because it's a first mock draft, so that we can just get the slots correct. And I have the Giants here taking JJ McCarthy,
which I would absolutely hate.
Oh, I know you would, but like the rumors feel like the rumors feel like, too real. They feel it's too hot. Like it's too hot for there not to be any fire where all the smoke is at.
I feel that. All right, so I mean, I'm at 5. I'm the Chargers, and I mean, so far it's easy street for me because the Chargers got rid of Keenan Allen, traded him to the Bears for a fourth. They got up Mike Williams. Mike Williams is going on some free agent visits this week. They need a number one. Got to get a weapon for Herbie, and you saw the whole Quentin Johnson thing last year. He's not really.
That didn't work.
It's only a year, but it's just not looking right. So go get them the best receiver in the draft. Potentially, what some people might even think is the best player all over in the draft. So, Marvin Harrison is going number 5 to the Chargers. And you're back with 6.
See, I feel like there's a movement happening right now of like a lot of people are souring extremely on Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So, and I feel, and the one thing I keep hearing more than anything else, like, I know people like Malik Neighbors, I know people like all those guys, but I'm going to go with Romo Dunze here because I keep hearing a lot of GMs saying that Romo Dunze is their favorite player in the draft. And I can't see Arizona, like, I feel like Arizona's comfortable moving back because they want to take Rome, but they also don't want him to be the first receiver off the board so that they can say, like, oh, they recouped picks, and that's why they took Rome. I just think it's a smart strategy. Like we saw them wheeling and dealing last year, so I just feel like that's going to be a thing.
Okay, I mean, I'm on the board with the Tennessee Titans at 7, and again, it's not really like a hard decision for me here because the Tennessee Titans just released Andre Dillard. They need a tackle, and the top 2 tackles on the draft are still on the board. I am deciding, but I mean, I know Olu was the guy for a while. Been sliding down a lot of boards as of late. Play strength has been a really big thing for him, especially as far as like pass protection and everything. He's been known to be getting pushed back pretty far in his pass pro. So I'm gonna go Joe Alt here at 7.
And break my heart. I understand.
I apologize, but you know things have to happen.
I definitely understand. I think the Falcons are definitely interesting. I think that this is where we get our first defensive player off the board. So I'm gonna go with Dallas Turner here because they desperately need help on the pass rush. Like there's no ifs about it.
Definitely makes sense. So back on the board at 9 with the Bears. I don't think they were expecting him to be here, but you get Caleb Williams, you got DJ Moore, you got Keenan Allen, and now somebody who worked a lot out of the slot at LSU and Malik Neighbors is still on the board. I think you run to the podium and you add Malik Neighbors to that offense. Now you have Keenan, you have DJ Moore, and you have Neighbors in your slot, along with I think you have you got a little 3-headed monster at receiver, and then you know, Malik can learn from DJ, who can learn from Keenan, and you know Caleb can learn from all of them. So I'm going to Malik Neighbors at 9.
So here's my thing. I think the Jets are now set up to where they don't need to stress about 10 and taking a certain position. They can look at the landscape, they can trade back. I think there's one team that really kind of needs offensive line help. And the team that sticks out to me trying to jump other teams would be because I know the Jets want to move back, but they don't want to move back like crazy. I'm trying to remember because the Bengals lost Jonah Williams, but if I'm not mistaken, that's where Orlando Brown is, right?
Orlando Brown? I really thought he was on the Ravens. Orlando Brown Jr.? Oh, he's on the right. You're right. He's on the Bengals.
He's on the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
I think the Bengals look to solidify their offensive line. It's for me. It's a cross between like the Bengals and the Saints.
Interesting.
That's what I.
Interesting. Okay.
But I'm gonna say the Bengals jump up here.
Hmm.
Jump up to take Olu.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm bugging. Bug up. Jump up to take Talise.
Okay. So you got the Jets trading with the Bengals.
Yeah.
So from New York to Cincy, 10 for 18.
Mm-hmm.
Opposed, accepted, and you have the Bengals taking Fuaga.
Yep.
Ooh, interesting. All right. Back on the board.
You know, you've heard the same noise I have. Fuaga's been getting so much steam. So much steam. Where it's like, and I feel like a lot of teams have soured on Olu, but you hear like Fuaga getting steam, you hear JC Latham getting steam, like you hear a lot of these right tackles kind of jumping Olu in that sense.
You definitely do.
Yeah.
I'm on the board at 11 with the Vikings, and it's an interesting pick because they missed out on the top 4 quarterbacks. I don't think they really need Olu. I don't think they really need the offensive line help that much to go get somebody. I know they got Darisaw there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll get Brock Bowers because I believe they have Hawkinson still. I don't see a corner pick this high. I don't see them going corner here. I know it sucks because they need a quarterback, but I mean, like,
you don't see the corner hype being this high.
I don't see. I mean, I do. I see Terrion as a top 10, but I don't know if he goes. I don't know if he goes here at 11. I don't know if this is their biggest need. And that's the thing. Like, I almost see this as a trade back just because they lost out on the top 4 and they lost Kirk Cousins.
True, but then
anybody saw that happening.
The question is, who would trade back? I mean, who would trade up? That's the question.
That's what I was like. I didn't have the ideas of the trades. That was my thing. Like, so even if I do think they would trade back, I don't know who would trade up and for what. I mean, there are teams that need corners for sure. That's my thing. It's like I don't know who they would take here. But you know what? Looking at their needs, they need a quarterback, and like I said, you missed on the top 4. There's nobody there, but they also have pick 23, so you could potentially come back around. You could go Penix there, but I don't know. Receiver, the big 3 are gone, and I don't see them going for the receiver number 4 right now. Honestly, this one you may not agree with.
Mm-hmm.
You may not agree with this one, but I'm kind of considering Johnny Newton.
I don't disagree. I don't think that's wild to say.
I
don't think it's wild to say. Like again, it's not crazy. It's really not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I like Murphy. I like Byron Murphy. I like Sweat, but I don't know. I think they need somebody on that interior as well. I mean, when I look at it, I was looking at Edge and I was looking at Verse and I was looking at Leo Tulatu, and I know they just signed Jonathan Grenard to replace Danielle Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was also the only other thing I was really looking at. And then they just signed Jonathan Bullard too.
Didn't they sign Jonathan Grenard?
That's what I said. They signed Jonathan Grenard to replace Danielle Hunter, and they signed Jonathan Bullard. Well, they re-signed him. He was there last year.
Right.
They signed Jerry Tillery at D tackle. They lost Marcus Davenport though at the end. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna build the defense. We're going Jared Verse.
Ooh, okay.
We're building the defense.
Okay.
Jared Verse and Jonathan Grenard.
So, I mean, you may have not been willing to take the lead. I definitely am. I know that the Broncos were looking at either corner or edge if they couldn't get up to get a quarterback. So I'm gonna have them taking Quinyon Mitchell as the first corner on the board.
Okay.
To go across from
Surtain.
That's a nasty duo.
I was thinking corner. I was looking at Terrion Arnold, but then I was just like, I could go Terrion, but they always say like if you get pass rush, it'll always take pressure off the secondary.
I agree. I definitely agree.
So I'm like, if I can get Verse and I compare to at least to replace Davenport's production,
if
I can get Verse and I compare him with Bernard, might have something. I was with Latu, but okay. Now we are back. We're the Raiders. Raiders in the quarterback, offensive tackle, running back, corner, and defensive tackle. He wasn't here last time we did this mock draft, but I'm taking Olu. Olu comes off the board here. I always want Jason Latham because I know they like their Bama offensive linemen. But I'm gonna go Olu here. They lost a good maybe like 3/5 of their offensive line. I know Illuminor came to the Giants. I think Van Roten is gone. Their guard. I think their center's gone too. So they have to rebuild that offensive line. So Olu comes off the board.
I will say there's no consideration for Powers Johnson here.
For who?
Powers Johnson, the center.
That's a good pick too. I do like that pick too. I just was thinking. I was like, I know they lost at least a guard and a tackle. I know they lost at least 2 to 3 pieces.
Well, I mean, when you say Illuminor, I just think about the right tackle. So I'm like, do they still have their left tackle?
Their left tackle, I'm not even sure. Let's see. Real quick, they lost. I know. Let's see. They lost Roten, they lost Parker, and they lost Illuminor. So that's their left and right tackle and their guard.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know who they signed as a tackle. So I mean, yeah, no.
According to everything up here, they didn't sign a tackle. They signed 3 D tackles. They signed. Oh no, yeah, they re-signed Adam Butler. They re-signed John Jenkins. Jerry Tillery went to the Vikings, and they signed Christian Wilkins. So they don't need a D tackle now. And of their free agents still available, they have Greg Van Roten, their guard. They have Brandon Parker, their other tackle. But I'm giving them Olu. You have the Saints at 14, and I have the Colts at 15.
Well, the Saints for me, this one's easy. The Trevor Penning thing, I feel like is an abject failure. Like we can all kind of say that pick was a failure. So I think they're taking the crack at it, and I'm going to give them J.C. Latham here.
Okay. J.C. Latham. All right. And I'm back with the Colts at 15.
I just gotta say, I know that there's a rumor out there. There's a rumor out there right now that like Brock Bowers is not getting past this point. So even if he gets past this point in our mock draft, he's not getting past this point.
Yeah, no. I got it.
Why by hook or by crook, but he's not getting past this point.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if this dude dropped to 15. Like, I'd be shocked if he dropped to 15. So looking at the Colts needs versus their receiver, corner, safety, edge, tight end, their needs versus what they have, or at least in their free agency. So as far as losses, they lost Gardner Minshew, they lost Zach Moss, they lost Jake Martin, outside linebacker, they lost Tony Brown, a corner, and they lost Isaiah McKinney, a receiver. Michael McKenzie. They have 4 of those free agents that haven't been assigned anywhere. But this one to me isn't that hard of a pick. Receiver, I like Brian Thomas. While I do like Brian Thomas Jr., pairing him with Anthony Richardson and Michael Pittman sounds pretty good. But I am going to go defense, and I'm going to give them the second corner of the guard. I'm going to give them Terrion Arnold.
Interesting. That's a solid pick.
Keep building that defense up.
Yeah. So this one is a little more interesting. I've heard a lot of rumors that Liatu Latu is dropping because of his
Medical.
medicals. Even though his medicals checked out, I think a lot of teams are still scared because of the medicals.
Yeah, it means a neck injury, so I understand it.
Yeah, which is it's rough. It's tough. It's definitely tough, right?
I mean, the same thing happened with Jalen Phillips. So
Yeah.
I
So
get
this is where it's tough for me.
Mm.
Well, too, with this team, I feel like they need some juice coming up the edge. They have a lot of solid guys on the edge, and guys are going to get better. But I think this is where they can afford to take a guy with some juice. So, and I've mocked this a million times. I feel like it's a perfect fit. I'm gonna go with Chop Robinson here.
Ooh.
I feel like it's a perfect system for him.
Ooh, Chop Robinson. Okay, 16. Interesting. You know what? I kind of thought you were going to give them Brock. I thought you were going to give him Brock.
I thought about it, but I also know they just re-signed Noah Fant.
That's true too. Yeah, that's true.
So it's like you don't need two of those guys. You need a guy that's actually going to block.
That's very true. All right, so I'm back on the board with the Jags, and I'm thinking about something right now. I'm really thinking about something right now, and it's a little interesting. So I'm looking at the names on the board. And I'm looking at their free agents right now. They need a corner, receiver, defensive tackle, which I don't believe they need defensive. Yeah, I could say they need defensive tackle. I mean, there's no free defensive tackles, guards, receiver.
Didn't they just re-sign both their guards?
I don't see them up here.
I'm almost sure.
I see Tyler Catley is the only free agent up here, so maybe they did resign both their guards. And they brought in Mitch Morse, so I mean, they got their center done. I'm thinking they lost Foley, but they brought in Eric Armstead. They lost Darius Williams, which is an interesting one, and they lost Rayshawn Jenkins. Darius Williams, the corner, intrigues me a lot, but you may find this interesting, or you may not agree with this at all. But they lost Calvin Ridley. They got Gabe Davis, but that's one receiver. He needs somebody on the other side. So Brian Thomas. I'm gonna give him some speed. Take the top off the ball, production out the ass. Somebody replace Calvin Ridley because they all thought they were getting Calvin Ridley back, but I think they said something about they only offered him like $50 or $60 million.
Yeah,
and then the Titans offered him 92 and blew him out the water. So he was like, I had to go. Like, I mean, as much as I loved it there, I had to go. So you get somebody. You got Gabe Davis. Gabe's not number one. We know that. Gabe's a good number two.
Brian Thomas, I feel like if he works on like the little nuances of like the route running and getting open, he has enough speed and size to be a number one. It's just about working on nuances of his game.
And I think it's a Jags pick because I think there's light speed, potential highlight play. So
I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
So this one is interesting. I could also see them going offensive line there too because of the Cam Robinson situation.
I was thinking either Fatanu or Johnny, one of the inside, either interior offense or defensive line, to be honest. But because they lost some defensive tackles, they added some edges but no D tackles, and I think the offensive line wise, they didn't really lose too many people. They added Mitch Morse, and then, like you said, they re-signed both their guards, so I thought they were okay on the line.
This one is kind of it's a battle between the heart and the head because now that we have Tyron Smith, it's like you really want to get a guy that you don't have to play right away, but might have to play at some point during the season.
You know the rumor here right now, right?
I know two guys I've heard a lot about, but I
Who have
don't
you
know.
heard?
The guys I like would it's a trust for me between Troy Fatanu and Amarius Mims.
Okay.
Those are the two guys that like I'm looking at. But I also know a lot of Jets fans really want Brock Bowers. So like with Brock sitting there, they're like pound the table for Brock. But it's like, listen,
That's
I
the big one right now. I hear a lot
that,
of rumor of Brock Bowers and the Jets.
and I get it. I understand it. But with Tyler Conklin already there, with Jeremy Ruckert already there, I kind of look at it where it's like, if Tyron Smith goes down, right,
Mm-hmm.
we really have to depend on Carter Warren. That's not if Morgan Moses goes down, we have to depend on Max Mitchell. You know, Elijah Vera Tucker is coming off a Achilles injury as a right guard. Now we have I can't think of his name right now for the life of me as a Schweitzer as a backup guard center situation, which he's a solid backup guy. What worries me is if one of our tackles goes down, which to me with the age and the turf and all that other stuff, it feels like almost a when, not an if.
We were just saying Tyron Smith hasn't completed a season since 2015, a complete season since 2015. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I think to me, Amarius Mims at this point has the most upside as a tackle. Like he's that big freak left tackle that you would just love. But it's hard for me because Troy Fatanu showed so well athletically. Like athletically, he when you saw him test, you saw him move. Like, oh no, he can play tackle, and he can thrive in tackle. You know, he's already shown on tape he's strong. He can anchor. He can move his feet really well. He's athletic. He can pull. You can move him to either guard or center. And I look at it from the standpoint of like here, as much as I would love Mims, just because of the tantalizing upside, I'm gonna go with Fatanu.
Ooh.
Because it helps me sleep better at night knowing that you have a guy in there that's gonna learn 4 of the 5 positions. So if any of your guys go down, you have quality, if not possibly better talent replacing them. Not to mention when Tyron and Moses are up this year, we at least have one of the tackle spots entrenched. Like one of them, you know who the next guy is, you know?
Interesting. That's interesting. All right. This one's pretty is pretty easy to me. Again. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Okay.
You know where I'm going?
Yep, I do.
Where am I going?
It just hit me like a ton of bricks. You have to replace the GOAT. The GOAT, like you have to replace like your whole defense is now contingent on that guy.
Yes.
And there's a guy sitting like staring you in the face. Where it's like you gotta replace that guy.
You have to. You gotta do it. So there you go.
This one to me is also another rumor that and I know Brett's probably gonna love this. You gotta, you got that connection with, Broderick Jones last year. You go back to the well, man. You go back to the well. You just got Russell, so you're gonna need an athletic tackle to kind of deal with that. You got Justin Fields, so you're definitely gonna need an athletic tackle moving forward. So I'm gonna give them Amarius Mims to go with Broderick Jones as your 2 bookend tackles and just kind of reunite the Georgia boys.
I like it. All right, so I'm back on the board with the Dolphins. Now this one's interesting because I could go a lot of different ways here.
I feel like they're one of those teams that like they're stacked, but they also have a lot of holes.
Yeah, like
weird.
Yeah, like because I'm looking at so the first thing I looked at was Latu, right? So I look at Latu and I'm like, I like it because So they cut Emmanuel Ogba. Justin Houston's gone. Bruce Irvin is gone. So you need somebody there. Like they resigned Deshaun Hand, but he's not like amazing. He's like all right.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Latu there, but then it comes with the injury concerns, and we just said Jalen Phillips was the same way. He had to medically retire for a bit. Like
they literally just lost their top 3 edges to major injury, like
right
in like 2 weeks.
Right. Like so, I'm sitting here like, do I go edge here? Then I'm looking at center because they lost. Well, Connor Williams left in free agency. He's not signed anywhere. They brought in Aaron Brewer, but I mean. Wasn't really a starter.
No.
So Jackson Powers Johnson makes a lot of sense. And the Dolphins were really good when they had Pouncey, and he was solidifying that line.
Yes.
But then I'm looking at Byron Murphy because they just lost Christian Wilkins.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like I can go one of 3 ways.
That's a tough one.
Right. Like I feel like I can go one of 3 ways, and I could still be all right. Like I wish it was a little lower down because to be honest, I even like if I could. I mean, I'd be nice if I could trade down, and I would even take Graham Barton here because they just lost Robert Hunt.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I don't think you need to trade down for Graham Barton. Like, don't disrespect my boy.
He's solid, but it might take him at 21. Could he go 21?
I mean, not with Powers Johnson and Zach Frazier on the board. Like, I can't see that.
Yeah, I mean, Barton's a guard, Johnson's a center, Frazier's a center,
and that's what I mean. Like, there's the versatility of like the guard center, but that to me it feels like that's where they would need it more than a guard tackle.
Yeah. That is tough. Like you can go either one of 3 ways. I don't even know who their tight end is. I'm not even considering Brock here, which is horrible because there's no way Brock Howard is sliding this far. Like there's no reason my man is sliding to 21. We're just destroying careers right now before they even start. There's no way this guy slides to 21. But
again, we already prefaced it by saying like, "Hey, we're getting creative, we're getting fancy. You're gonna, trade." Or like, I don't think he gets past 15. But that's the weird thing about Brock Bowers and him being a tight end. Like, because think about it, most of the picks after like the top 10, we really haven't even taken any pass catchers. Like, there isn't any offensive weapons. It's literally like the top guys and then defense. So
like man, Dolphins still got Chubb. They still got Chubb and Jalen Phillips. They gotta both get healthy. Oh man, that's a tough one. Looking at their free agents, like I said, the main one they lost. The only one they lost was Christian Wilkins. That is the main guy. Man, Christian Wilkins. You know what though? You gotta protect your quarterback.
Yeah, especially that quarterback.
Yeah, you gotta protect your quarterback. Let's see. You lost Robert Hunt. You brought in Aaron Brewer, but Aaron Brewer has 3 years of experience. He was undrafted. And I don't know if he was a starter, to be honest with you. I don't believe he was a starter for the Rams. Or for Tennessee. Sorry. Let's see. Aaron Brewer. Let's just look him up while we're here.
I mean,
why not? Center guard. Signed on as an undrafted free agent. Oh, okay. He started 40 of 58 career games. Okay, he started 7. Okay. You know what? I'm sorry, Aaron. I wasn't familiar with your greatness. He started the past 2 years for the Titans. 17 games started, 17 games played, all 100% snaps. You know what, Aaron? I respect that. You changed my mind. I'm going Byron Murphy.
There you go.
I'm replacing Christian Wilkins.
Here is my thing. This is where it gets hard for me because I feel like the Eagles are just like, We don't need him, but like having Brock Bowers there for the Eagles is just like another weapon.
Oh, oh my god.
Another weapon. But here's my thing.
No way.
Like if I'm thinking like the Eagles, then of course you take the talent that's there. But I also look at it like they didn't lose games because they couldn't score. That wasn't the problem. They lost games because they was getting aired out on like crazy by a bunch of teams. And they haven't really done like I hear the rumors about them adding Snead, but they added back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, which great move. They added Bryce Huff as a pass rusher. Like they did all of those things. So I don't know where he went. I don't know what's going on. But as I'm
going, I'm here.
Oh God, this is where it's tough because in my brain I'm like Cooper DeJean makes sense, but you know what? The rumor that I've heard a lot of from the beginning would be Lane Johnson's not long for his career, and
Really?
yeah, no, he's not. He's already talking about like hanging it up, and
Really?
I think he wants to go the Travis Kelce route and kind of, pick his replacement. Because again, Lane Johnson's an older guy. Like we forget Lane Johnson's a little up there. So I'm gonna Lane's early 30s, I think.
Yeah, maybe early 30s, maybe.
So I'm actually gonna give them Tyler Guyton here.
That's interesting. Oh, he is 33, I guess. Tyler Guyton. Okay, I didn't see that one coming at all. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, Eagles fans are probably gonna hate me for that one.
I'm okay with that.
I'm sure you are.
Another lineman is going to be a freaking Hall of Famer because he goes to the Eagles now.
Yeah.
Freaking bastards. All right. Let's see. I'm back on the clock. Damn, Vikings always making things hard and difficult. All right. I'm back. I gave them verse the first time around. We just went. Byron Murphy would have been nice. I'm not gonna give another receiver because it's interesting. Like, I want to see what happens to Justin Jefferson, and that could change a lot because, like, if Justin were to leave, then I would look at potential receivers. But with Justin still being there for now, I can't really do that in all honesty. I kind of like Cooper DeJean because they have Harrison Smith, but Harrison Smith is another one who's like towards ending his career. He's got to be 34, 35, 36, around there. I think he's a structured 1-year deal. So Harrison's got to be gone soon. Again, looking at free agents, they lost a couple of D tackles and guards. I think one of the big ones they really did was one of the sneaky ones they lost was KJ Osborne. That was an interesting one that they lost today.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting one. Like I said, I already went edge, I already went verse, and I like that. Well, again, corner can't be a thing. The top 2 D tackles are off the board. And the next D tackle is Leonard Taylor, and I think it's a little too early for him. But I'm gonna continue to help that defense out because, right, obviously they don't have a quarterback. I mean, they signed Sam Darnold, and I guess for now he's going to be the de facto starter because they don't really have anybody else. I'm going to continue to build that defense up, and I'm going to go Nate Wiggins here, actually.
Interesting.
I'm giving him a corner.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dallas did let go their last productive, really uber productive tight end. Went to he wasn't productive, he was solid. Went to the Texans and is balling right now.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. I don't know.
Powers.
Yeah, I don't know who their other tight end is, and I feel like giving them another weapon to help out CeeDee Lamb, and they just lost Michael Gallup on top of that.
Very true.
if Brock Bowers wasn't here, like I definitely would. I may even look at AD Mitchell at this point.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with Brock Bowers here and make him a Dallas Cowboy. And
also makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, if he slides that far, like I feel like there'd be teams trading up for that at that point.
Oh no, for sure. I feel like at that point teams are gonna make moves. Like you look at the Lions, you look at the Ravens. To me, I'm like the Ravens need a replacement for old boy because not having him this year hurt. And yes, they have Likely, but you can never have too many of those guys for Lamar Jackson.
Mark Andrews and that,
yeah.
Likely. Yeah, that's true. That's cool. I mean, if you didn't take Bowers there, I was going to take him next to the Packers because they love the Packers. They love their offense, their tight ends. But being that I am here now, I didn't take him earlier because I felt it was a little too high. But I'm going to do the Packers thing, and I'm going to interior. I'm going Graham Barton to the Packers.
I thought you were going to go Latu. I swear to God, I thought you were going to go Latu.
No, they took Dude last year. They took Van Ness last year.
True.
I believe they still have Preston Smith over there as well.
I believe so.
And I know that they just lost John Runyon Jr. to the Giants. Giants assigned him, so I know they have a whole. Actually, they have him, and they have they cut Bakhtiari, so I know they have some holes on the offensive line. So they want to protect Jordan Love. So I want to get them Graham Barton, protect that interior. And you got the Bucks,
and that's the thing. That's the one team like I'm not familiar with your game. I'm sorry. I'm really not familiar with your game. If I'm not mistaken, didn't the Bucks their center just retired?
Yes, Ryan Jensen retired, and they also lost Aaron Stinney, and they lost somebody else too.
So I feel like this is a layup. I'm just gonna go with the chalk pick and give them Jackson Powers Johnson.
I like it, and I'm gonna follow you right up. And so the Cardinals, to me, who would give the Cardinals earlier? Rome. Okay, the Cardinals got Rome earlier. Ooh, I was gonna do something reckless if I didn't see that.
You was gonna get another receiver, huh?
Oh yeah, it was. If I didn't go check that. Okay. So the Cardinals need receiver, D tackle, corner, guard, and edge. All right, we're gonna stop the slide here. We're giving them a lot to.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense.
We're giving an edge. Need somebody to get after the quarterback. The only people that they had looking at their free agents, they have Carlos Watkins, who's still a free agent. Jonathan Ledbetter, still a free agent. And they lost Lucky Fotu to y'all. They resigned Bilal Nichols, but that's really it. They beat Edge Help, so Latu falls.
People are gonna hate me for this one, and I hate myself for it. But losing Gabe to me is like it's not that big of a loss, but it's a big loss because I think I'm gonna take a guy of what Gabe was supposed to be. And I think I'm going to go AD Mitchell here.
Interesting. Oh, okay. I mean, I like because Gabe's on, and then there's a lot of rumor about Diggs getting traded. So
yeah, and I like AD Mitchell because again he allows for Josh to let it air out. I was trying to decide between him and Xavier Worthy, but I think because of the cold and because of the fact of like the physicality within the division, I think they'll like AD Mitchell's size over Xavier Worthy's size. But the skill set of like the deep ball guy, the jump ball guy, the touchdown getter that Gabe Williams was supposed to. I mean, Gabe Davis was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it works really well for them.
So you're going AD Mitchell?
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm back with the Lions. So this might be interesting to you. So when I look at the Lions needs, any edge, corner, D tackle, guard, receiver. Looking at their free agency, they brought back Peoples Jones. They brought in Davenport, so won't say they need a D tack at the end. Um, they resigned Khalil Dorsey and they brought Meek Robertson in, so I will cross off the corner. D tackle. Next one again is Leonard Taylor, and I think it's still a little too high for that. Guard with what's it called? Gone. Guard with Barton gone. I think the next one is BB. I don't want to go BB yet. 29.
Yeah, I still think that's too high.
Yeah. So honestly, here I am going to stop. I don't know if it's a slide, but
it's a little bit of a slide.
The top man on the board for me is Cooper DeJean, and they just lost Seagardner Johnson. So
yeah, that's immediately where my brain went, and he helps on the corner end too.
Yes, versatility for sure.
So this one is a little tough because again, I struggle with Coleman. It's like he tests kind of poorly, but when you see him do the drills, he looks amazing.
He did look good.
But then you watch him on film, and it's just he can't get away from anybody. So frustrating, but his attitude fits so well with Baltimore. And I look at it's a cross between him and Worthy, but I also hesitate because it's like, Hollywood Brown wasn't successful there either. Granted, different coordinator, which is a thing, but I also don't really remember seeing Lamar really throw it downfield crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with Worthy is in that division where it's a bunch of, tough corners, a lot of physicality, a lot of physical defenses, you worry about Worthy's size. So I'm going to hate this. I also, again, there's no guard I'd take this early. There really aren't any more edges.
The next one is Darius Robinson, and I mean we've seen him go high in mocks, like the end of round one, but is what we think.
Again, I don't know. I'm gonna just go with my gut and go with Corey here.
Who?
Corey Coleman. I mean Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman.
Interesting. I think Ravens. I don't think Ravens are gonna like you for that one. To be honest,
they'll like me for it. Truthfully, they're probably not. I feel like they probably would want a Worthy, or they want to go in a different direction. But I can't.
They lost Odell. They lost Devin Duvernay. Worthy makes sense.
I mean, sure, but again, with his fit, with the fact that my biggest thing is his drops. If you look at his film, he drops a lot of passes. Okay. And then you look at the fact that you're playing in Baltimore. So you're most of the year you're playing against the Steelers, you're playing against the Browns, and you're playing against
Bengals.
The Bengals. So you're playing in colder weather, you're playing against physical teams, and if he's 160 something soaking wet, 165 soaking wet, suddenly he's like your 1B receiver because you lost everybody else, or you have Bateman but he hasn't really been there, so he's your 1C maybe, or your high end 2 where he's just going on go routes. And granted, he can get open, but you also now have Zay Flowers. That's what I'm forgetting. You have Zay Flowers, who's already a smaller guy, who's your get open guy. Like, you need a little bit of size there. So I think Coleman kind of works, and Coleman, for all he is, can definitely work as a kick returner, and he's big and physical and
big as hell on the kick returner.
Yeah.
All right, so my last pick, I got the Niners. Niners added a lot of pieces, but they also lost a lot of pieces. But the position I keep seeing pop up is corner. Logan Ryan, Terrence Mitchell are free agents, and plus Isaiah Oliver is a free agent. Top person on the board is Cooley McKinstry.
Yeah, Oliver came to us.
yeah, he went to y'all. I'm going Cooley here. He's the top player on the board, top corner.
Makes sense. And I mean, he's solid. Like he's not.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that he's bad. He's
not
solid.
at all. Yeah, and
Now,
I think like people, the whole Kamari Lassiter probably killed him. So
yeah. Here's the thing, too. I hate this pick because it's like, yes, they already got Hollywood, but it's also another case of the rich getting richer. Because you look at the Miami Dolphins, and they kind of show you that like you can never have too many speedy receivers. So I'm just gonna give Kansas City Xavier Worthy, and hate myself for it.
I mean, there you go. There
Yes,
you go.
There you go.
That's our first round.
Now, granted, I do think the Panthers are going to try to sneak into the first round. They're going to try to find a way to get on the back end, especially if some of these drops happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's still a solid mock. I mean, again, I hate you for giving me JJ McCarthy, but like, I mean, I think everything else is pretty good. Like, Olu falls in place where we usually see Olu now in these latest mocks.
I mean, that's around the range I see teams taking them, between like 13 and 16.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then you guys going and getting Fatanu just to like insurance pick, like who can play that versatility guard and tackle. Like, that's pretty solid too.
Like, I mean, again, the pick isn't sexy by any means.
Not everyone's gonna be.
But that's
insurance.
The Jets have had probably the most injured offensive line in the last like 3 years.
You and us, trust me. We know
So it's like, at this point, I get the Bowers pick, but the sex appeal, the sexy pick, I'm not playing with it. I'm not fumbling with it. Like, again, him or Marius, I'm good. I'm fantastic with that. I'm so the Bengals getting Fuanga though is top notch.
Yeah, Ty Fuanga definitely would help the Bengals out. Can't even get mad at that. All right, guys. Well, let us know how you thought we did down below. As always, like, comment, subscribe. We'll try to get better than that.
It since, you're just kind of scrolling through it real quick?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Let's recap it.
Let's
recap. Why not? Well, just a recap. I mean, Caleb, like we said, chalk pick, goes to the Bears. They traded JF1, so I mean, pretty much I think we all see that, the writing on the wall there. Jaden, you said is because you feel like they're gonna find somebody that can move. Somebody that's want to move around and be able to run in the pocket. I like it. And I mean, them signing Mario is kind of the indicator of that. They want somebody that can move.
Mm-hmm.
And then as much as, getting like, as much as like Marv sitting on the board for the Patriots at 3 looks sexy because it's like, the best receiver in the draft potentially. And based on your rankings and all that stuff, like, I get it, but you need somebody to throw the ball to them or it's not going to matter who you get. And then also, Jacoby Brissett is a good quarterback, but he's not a franchise quarterback. He's never going to be. Like, so.
Now, I will say with this one, I am open to the possibility that, like, I don't think teams have JJ and May separated by as much as we think they do.
I don't think so either.
I could 100% see the Patriots going JJ there, too, and having May drop. And then really, like, the Vikings putting super pressure on Arizona to try and move out of that pick.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
For me, it was just, I don't think Arizona would want to move out of the top 10. That's just a personal thing. I don't think Arizona would want to move out of the top 10 just at risk of like losing one of those receivers. And I don't see an entry point for them to get back in to get one of the receivers that they would want. So it doesn't make sense for them to move out and, have to take a different position, which is the only reason why I went to the Giants, because I do think Minnesota probably has a better package to offer.
11 and 23 plus whatever else they got. The Giants, we only have about 6 or 7 picks right now.
Yeah, so I mean, but I think it's more so like they would just want to move back a little to get the receiver that they want and get some additional picks versus moving all the way. Yes, you're getting additional picks, but I think the gap between wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4 is huge because we still don't even. There's not even a consensus of wide receiver 4 at this point.
Yeah, very true. I know. I'm surprised about the Rome. I know the Giants love Rome. Like, I know we're freaking out over Rome. Like, supposedly that's the rumor out of the combine and everything. So I'm surprised by Rome over Neighbors. But
I've not the thing is, for me, the pick comes down to I've just not heard anything about Neighbors. Like, there aren't people talking about Neighbors. Like, all the word is everybody loves Rome. Everybody sees Rome as like he's the type of player and the type of person that they see as the face of the position down the road after Justin. You know,
Fair.
after dude from the Bengals whose name Jamar. After Jamar Chase. You know, he's the next guy.
Yeah, I mean, Alt makes sense just because of the loss of Dillard. Dallas Turner, another one.
I feel like the Dillard move just kind of made it. I feel like the Dillard move just kind of made it like so obvious at this point that it's just like, you know what?
Oh yeah, you had to.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, then you have Dallas Turner, and the Falcons always need pass rush. They can never find somebody to just like actually get it right. Like, I mean,
I truly think this pick is just between Dallas and Jared Verse.
Man,
like,
I
think
agree.
Between those two guys, I just say Dallas because he's more of the speed. Like, he's more of your Micah Parsons build, where you use him as more of a chess piece. And again, when you look at his pedigree, you look at his story, like, the kid works his butt off. He's extremely smart. He's better than people give him credit for, and he's only ascending at this point. So you get a player like that that's this young, this soon, as like your staple pass rush, and you start to build out that defensive line the way you built out that offensive line.
I think that. And we got I mean, Neighbors to the Bears kind of just makes sense along with everybody else they got, just because he needs Zach out and surround Caleb with weapons. Fuaga was interesting. I didn't see that pick coming. Do you think he just goes and plays right tackle to take over for Jonah, or do you think he slides to the side?
I think depending on what they need, he could, but with his showing and how high teams were on him following the combine, I definitely think they saw him move, they saw how actually big he is as a human, and how well his feet, like how good his feet are. Granted, being at tackle, people may question the groin flexibility, so like the ground he's able to cover, you know, on his kick steps, but like, again, because his feet are so quick, I think you look at that situation, and I think he's only getting better in pass pro. So I don't see the point in limit. I feel like moving him to guard limits him in a lot of ways. Even though I think he'll be an all-pro guard, I think Fuaga has the potential to be like an all-world right tackle. Just because of his attitude, because of his work, because he's ascending, because of his play strength. And you put that next to an Orlando Brown, like whoever ends up as the running back for Cincinnati, whoever that may be at this point.
And they signed Zach Moss?
I mean, I guess, but I think they might go and get a guy. Honestly, I think they definitely might be in play for one of the younger backs. But I mean, again, what if Zach Moss now breaks out for a 1,500, 1,700 yard season because of, now you can run behind either side. Now you got some road raiders, like you got some dudes that'll really sit up there and protect Joe Burrow. Granted, now you got to worry about the inside, but it's a different day.
All right, and then we have Verse. Like I said, I picked Verse just because I want him to replace Danielle Hunter. Well, you have Grenard's going to be on one side, Verse on the other side. The Quinyon Mitchell pick, I like that.
I think too with the Vikings, I think, again, I made the Giants pick. I get it. But I think with the 2 first-round picks, truly, I think one of them, they'll either use them to get up and get a quarterback, or one of those picks are going to be a quarterback. I think they take a shot on Penix.
I could see them moving back up for 23 and taking him.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
my thing, I thought about that too at 23, and I was just like, yeah. Like I thought about it though. I was just like, I was thinking because you have Sam, and Sam is nothing but a bridge. Like, so I figured like I was gonna either go Penix or I was gonna go Bo Nix, one of the two, and just like slot them in, but I didn't.
And again, too, you look at it from a situation of like, even if neither one of those guys are the guys, if next year's draft class is not great and you've done your advanced scouting, maybe the draft class 2 or 3 years down the line is better. Having Sam Darnold being as young as he is and then having one of those two guys behind him on a rookie deal works in your favor because it buys you time to be competitive while still waiting on the quarterback that you can drop into that offense.
Yeah. Very true.
Well, the Mitchell pick too for me is just you look at most upside, like there really isn't a flaw in his game. The only flaw was competition, and your man went to the Senior Bowl, shut that up. Your man went to the Combine and knocked it out of the park. Like your man, he literally took no money from the NIL because he's like, nah, I want to win here. Like,
Word.
but there really is no flaw. Like he's quick, he's fast, he can play in press, he can play in man. His lips are his hips are oily as hell. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's really no flaw in this game. So to me, it's like him being the first corner off the board just makes so much sense. And then you're not asking him to be the number one corner. At that point, you have two number one corners.
He's two. He's two behind Surtain. Very true.
So at that point, you have de facto like two number one corners.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, going Olu just to me it make going Olu make sense because you need to rebuild your offensive line behind, and then you gotta protect. I think you lost like 3 offensive linemen this offseason. I don't think you really replaced anybody yet. So the Fashanu pick makes sense to me, and the Latham pick makes sense too. Like we've seen the rumors of Latham going there anyway, but then coupled with the fact that I think we believe they lost Andrews Pete, and plus, like you said, you brought up a good point with Penning not panning out. So, goddamn, keep going. I'll be back.
And then you have Terrion Arnold at 15. You add another really solid player to that Colts team. You know, definitely could have gone in a couple of different directions, but I think corner is solid for them. Getting Chop Robinson, who has a boatload of potential and a boatload of upside, and just really needs to learn how to play the edge position. You know, with the size profile, the feel of a Michael Parsons, not the same player, but just getting, Chop Robinson in that defense, under that coaching staff, being able to mold him the way you need to mold him, and him not having to be the first guy so he can just sit back and learn and understand and just compete is great for them because long term, if he hits, he's probably going to be the best edge in this class.
I love Chop.
Yeah.
I love his game.
Yeah. And again, his game is still raw. That's what I love about it. His game is raw. The game is so raw. So it's like if he hits and he gets a pass rush plan and he's not just using his athleticism anymore, but he has an actual pass rush plan, dude may be unstoppable. Like he's gonna be unblockable.
Yeah, very true. Like I said, I like Brian Thomas here just because I feel like it's a Jags pick. Like I just feel like the Jags will come out and they're just gonna try to just like I feel like they're gonna want to replace Calvin Ridley. They're gonna try to give Trevor another weapon, and I don't know. I think they see the production in Brian Thomas and they're gonna try to hone that. Like need somebody across from Gabe Davis. They lost a couple of receivers. I think Agnew, Ridley, and they lost somebody else as well. So I was like, when I was seeing it. I was just like, it's a sexy pick, and I feel like the Jags go for a lot of sexy picks. So in their line of thinking, that's why I went with that pick. And then you doubling back.
I mean, this pick to me, it's a slam dunk because you get a guy who's essentially you get a second Elijah Vera Tucker. I mean, hopefully less injury prone, but you get a second Elijah Tucker, where now you either have your two booking, like you have two older tackles. So next year you can double dip in this draft and go get another tackle as your potential right tackle of the future, or you hope one of your guys in house develops into that. You have Fatano, who can take over the left tackle position, which he played in college and played very well, by the way. Or he can slide into left guard, and the guy you have here is now expendable. And you have Barrett Tucker and Fatano as your inside guards, along with Joe Tippmann, and you have them grow together. So I just feel like it gives you that level of versatility where if you want to go, if one of your tackles doesn't work out as a backup, he slips in. If one of your guards gets hurt or the production just isn't there, he slides in. And it just elevates, to me, this pick just elevates the floor of the offensive tackle group.
I feel that. I feel like Johnny Newton is obvious. I think he's plug and play day one. You lost Aaron Donald, you plugged in with Johnny. I don't think there's nothing much to really explain there. I do like Marius Mims. Everybody's been talking about Mims the whole time for the Steelers, especially now with getting JF1 and Russ. Like, you have to continue to build that offensive line and continue to block for them and the run game with Najee. So I feel like that move works. And then even Brian Thomas, like, going to the Dolphins. Yeah, I still have Raekwon Davis. Mm-hmm. But that defense was built around Christian Wilkins. Like, he was the man there. So, and I'm really surprised. Like, I'm really surprised that they even they let him just go. But
yeah,
I thought the line played too because I know they lost Robert Hunt. But Robert Hunt got paid. Like, the Panthers had the
$100 million for 4 years is wild.
Like we were looking at Onwenu and Jonah Jackson and everything, and then Robert Hunt just $100 million. I get it's 4 years, $100 million. Theirs were 3 years, 51. He got 4 years, 4 years, 100. Like, geez.
Like, that is, whew. But I mean,
yeah.
The interior line class in this draft is actually pretty good. So I feel like they can get a replacement somewhere in the second round sometime.
I agree. Then you go back with the Eagles and Tyler Guyton. Like you said, just rebuilding the O-line, keep replenishing with young pieces. And you got Nate Wiggins. But I think the Vikings, having missed out, and like I said, like, another way I could have went here and I could have got Bo Nix sitting on top of the board. I could have went and got Penix. But I mean, when I look at it now, like, if we were to do a round two, they potentially could still go to the Vikings if the Vikings are in the second round. Like,
yeah.
Because when you think about it, like, the teams that needed quarterbacks got their quarterback. So what's the need to take Bo Nix or Penix? So they could very well go in the second round and get one of the two. Yep. Like I said, the Bowers pick, as much as I hate it, it makes a ton of sense. They always have tight ends that produce and kill people across the middle. And then, like I said, the Packers is just a Packers pick because I wasn't going to be like, oh, let me give him Xavier Worthy. You know what ain't about to happen.
Yeah, no. We know.
Packers never pursued a first round. And then you came back with the center pick. Which
and their center just retired. They just re-signed Baker Mayfield. They just re-signed Mike. What the hell's his name? I want to say Mike Williams, but I know that's not it. Mike Evans. There we go. All these people have similar names. They just re-signed Mike Evans. So, like, again, you just build offense. You keep trucking along,
Yeah,
and then I don't know why you picked Latu there personally. So I'm like, best defensive player available, I guess. Like,
yeah, to me,
so
yeah, like, that's really what it was. Like, to me, it's a BPA pick. Like, I understand you have the medicals, I understand all that, but at 27, you have debatably some people might have him ranked as the best pass rusher in the draft. I mean, maybe second. Okay, maybe people are like, oh, Dallas is one, he's two. And you're not expecting him
in terms of pure pass rusher, there's an argument that he's first. It's just he has the injuries, but like he's probably the most complete pass rusher in this draft. He's a solid athlete, but again, he's got a counter, another counter, and then he's got a counter to that counter. He already knows how offensive linemen are attacking him. Like, the guy is super smart. The only issue with him is he's an average athlete with injury problems.
Yeah, my main thing then, I was going, like I said, I was going to double up at receiver, especially after trading Rondale, because
Yeah,
I after trading Rondale and Hollywood left, like I really can't name you a receiver over there, and that's why I was going to double up and get like Worthy or something, but I was like, for the sake of being different, let me not double up at receiver, like let me not
I
do
could
that.
also see this being a trade out. Honestly,
Yes, I can.
I could see this being a trade out.
I can see it, but I just saw it and I was just like, he's one of the best players in the draft. Like, he's selected
Why are we doing
27.
it?
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
27. You got it. Like,
So the Bills.
no. Damn it. Tre'Davious
That.
White. Tre'Davious White has visits scheduled with the Rams and Raiders this week.
Mm,
I don't see the Giants name there.
mm.
We need a CB2.
Word.
Like, that was literally like my pick for CB2. But I mean, people are naming like Stephon Gilmore and other stuff like that. But I'm like, come on.
No, I get it. I definitely get it. So I had AD Mitchell go to Buffalo just because, again, they just lost Gabe Davis. We don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs. Their other receivers are subpar at best. And the one thing about AD Mitchell is he flew at the combine. He has decent enough hands. He was a touchdown machine for Texas. And I feel like that's perfect for Josh Allen. He's a bigger guy, so Josh can really throw it and not have to worry so much about it being the perfect, angle or whatever. Like, he has a fairly large catch radius. So, like, I just feel like it's a perfect fit for the team and specifically for the quarterback.
Fair. The Lions, I look a little sexy with this pick, but admittedly, but I think they need to replace C. Gardner Johnson. So that's why I went Cooper DeJean. I think it makes sense, and he also gives him some corner safety versatility. He can play both positions, so I went Cooper here. And you with Keon, which I don't think Buffalo.
Yeah, this is one of those where it's like there's a need there, and it's more so drafting for the need than just drafting. And plus, he was one of the best players left, and as much as you take corner there, it's like, what difference does that make for you to take corner? The safety's there. The Ravens are pretty solid on safety. I mean, I guess you can always add to the offensive line. There's never enough. You can always add to, the pass rush. But there just weren't any guys there that really stuck out to me. And I felt like with Coleman, with the way he plays, his attitude, like, yeah, is he the perfect prospect? No. But I feel like he's the type of prospect that can definitely, like, you have him there along with Bateman. I feel like now you have you have a little bit of a basketball team there that, Lamar can really kind of let it go and trust that his guys will be there for him. Not to mention you now have Zay Flowers, who's the de facto number one, who is your get open guy. And I feel like when he pulls defenses in to kind of focus in on him, and you have Mark Andrews, you have those short area guys. A guy like Coleman can thrive because he can get open in like the upper intermediate to like distance routes, because he doesn't have to worry about constantly having to outspeed a guy. Like, you can scheme him open. Plus, once he gets the ball, like, the dude is a dog. Like, at the end of the day, the dude is a dog. And that's kind of what you need. You want a little bit of that attitude in the receivers room.
Fair. And then I love our last two picks. I mean, I went Kool-Aid because I know that the Niners added some defense up front with especially with Leonard Ford signing. They got people to go after. But I know they lost some people, but I know on the back end they lost about 3 or 4 corners and like a safety also, I believe. So Kool-Aid McKinstry, like we said before, isn't like a bad player. He's solid. He's just there's other people that just, it's like every year you have that guy who's like good, and then everybody else just kind of rises over him, and then it just causes him to slide. Not because he's not good, just because other people just try to show it out. And then I mean, again, like you said at the end, Xavier Worthy, like the richer get richer. Like you add Xavier Worthy with Hollywood Brown and
Rasheed
obviously,
Wright,
yeah,
all guys.
like the Chiefs show that you don't need like a stud number one dominant receiver. But if you can add a piece like that, I think that only helps you even more. Like
Mhm.
so I dig it.
And in a lot of ways, again, what is it, 4-2-1? 4-2-1 speed.
Yeah, 4-2-1.
4-2-1 speed. So you get again, we love Hollywood, but he's not 4-2-1 fast. He's not 4-2-1 fast. You get your Tyreek Hill back, essentially. And you know, Worthy's small, but you can put weight on people.
Yeah.
Like you can put weight on people, so you know.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Let's get out of here. It's been long enough.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. 1 week of free agency is down. We look forward to week 2. Draft is about 39, I believe, days away now.
Something like that.
Yeah. We will definitely be posting another mock draft, at least 2-3 more before the draft happens. Stick with us. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how we did. Let us know what you liked and didn't like. And check us out, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. And I think that's about it. TikTok also. Check us out on TikTok.
Before he gets banned. So.
Oh, gosh. All right, guys. Have a good night. Till next time. Peace.